Okay, welcome all of you. In this lecture, we discuss about the use of seawater for concrete work and also the use of artificial aggregate for the concreting. First, we go through the point use of seawater for concrete work. Point number first is the study shows that the seawater affect the rate of gain in strength of the concrete when used for mixing or curing. That is, when you use the seawater for concreting or curing of a concrete, then it will affect on the rate gain of the strength of a concrete. So we have to study or consider this effect of a seawater in a strength. Point number two, the strength of the concrete made by using seawater was observed to be decreased by 15% as compared to the similar concrete specimen made and cured with the fresh water. That is, the concrete made and cured with the regular water is having the greater strength as compared to the concrete made with the seawater. There is a decrease in strength about 15% when we use the seawater for the concreting work. Next is the mixing of seawater does not having the major effect on the strength of the concrete but causes the corrosion of the reinforcement. That is, there is decrease in strength about 15%, but the large effect of the seawater is it causes the corrosion of the reinforcement. The reinforcement, that is the steel which is used in the RCC work, if it is subjected to the corrosion, then there is a decrease in the strength of the steel and also the structural member. As the seawater containing the different types of the salts and they react with the ingredients of the concrete and also affect on the steel. So we use the seawater maximum for the PCC work. That is point number 4. The seawater is permitted for mixing and curing of the plain cement concrete, that is concrete without steel. But for economical purpose or due to the other reason, if seawater cannot be avoided or there is a single option to use the seawater, then we have to use the seawater with certain guidelines, and we have to make a concrete more dense so that there is a less, or we have to avoid the corrosion of the reinforcement of the steel. So it is about the use of the seawater. Then we go for the artificial aggregate. Artificial aggregate are the aggregate which are processed aggregate, or some of the aggregate which are made from the natural material, but we have to process them into the required shape and size, such as the coarse aggregate which are used at the site, or the crushed sand. These are the artificial aggregate or the processed aggregate. Also the brick bat is also the artificial aggregate. The broken bricks and air cooled blast furnace slabs are also used as the artificial aggregate. The broken bricks are not suitable due to the following reason. That is, it has the low crushing value and it has the poor resistance. So we have to use the broken bricks in a work where is the strength is not important factor. That is for rough work or the PCC work or the filling work, we can use the broken bricks. The blast furnace slag, it is the waste, which is a waste product which is obtained from the blast furnace slag. So it is used as the aggregate, coarse aggregate or fine aggregate. The blast furnace slag is obtained from the steel manufacturing plants where the after processing or making the steel, some wastage is remained and that wastage is known as the blast furnace slag. This waste product is used as the coarse and fine aggregate, but disadvantage is if we use the blast furnace slag, then it causes the corrosion of a reinforcement. So these are the some artificial aggregate which are used for the concrete work. So it is about the use of the seawater and use of the artificial aggregate in a concrete.